Oh, welcome back to Retail Merchandising. Today we're going to be talking about human relations. I teach HR classes. My background's a little bit in HR. So we're going to look at this from a retailer perspective. Remember, you're not going to know everything about HR in this short 20-minute recording. It's an overview of what you read in from the author's perspective, from my perspective during the discussion boards, and also from other students who provided their input during our discussion board. So here's what we're going to look at. Let's look at it from a retailer's point of view. Most of your employees that you'll be bringing in are usually in high school or in college. Your younger employees coming in for their first job. So you have different motivation factors you have to look at. You have different generation motivations you have to look at. But those are some of them had worked before, some of them have not. So it's just a little different. Not all employees coming in, but I'm just looking from the small business perspective. That's where you're going to come in. Okay, so let's look at this. So what we're going to talk about is what you're going to learn in this chapter. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger for you to see it. Let's do it at 200. Okay? So now, remember, we've covered all this. We're going to describe how to retain employees. That's the hardest thing, especially when you're a small business or a boutique, like some of you may be opening up a small business operation. Your employees are coming in as a stepping stone and moving up. Why? Because you don't give them the flexibility. You can't pay them as much as a corporation. It's not as much fanfare. But remember, from an employee's perspective, if you could sell that employee, market your job, say, hey, we are growing. As we grow, we need managers, we need supervisors, or we may make you part of our business operation. We may make you a partner if you're good. So all those things are motivating factors that we're going to be talking about that may keep people. Some people like the flexibility of a small business. A lot of more flexibility. From a corporate, here's the rules, procedures, you have to ask, boom, 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 you go. And a small business, you talk to your boss because he or she's the owner right there. Okay, so you're going to look at, but the hardest thing of a small business is not only to retain employees, how to be an effective manager. Don't think that you want them all to like you. It's nice, but that's not reality. You want them to respect you. Explore various strategies could undertake a cost. Like it or not, it's all about a cost. If you keep on turning over employees, to turn over an employee, that means you got to retrain them. That's cost. They're not productive for the first maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on how much they have to do as a new employee. Small business, if you're bringing in an accountant, you're bringing in somebody else that does a sale, and you train him or her, you spend 5 months on training them, and then they leave for the next better position. So you're kind of a little weary. So you have to look at that, okay? But that's part of your cost. How do I keep them to stay so I don't have to retrain them again or bring in new employees? It's easier to keep a relationship going than to start a brand new relationship. Okay? Identify legal issues with human resource management. From a small business perspective, you are, for lack of better words, wear many hats. You're an HR person. You're a motivator. You're a manager. You're the merchandiser individual. You're a display person. You do everything. And then as your business grows, you bring in other people that have, not because you like them, they have a skill set that you need for your business to operate. Okay? All right. So let's look at the next thing is acquire, retain human resources. People, next to inventory, your employee is the next expensive cost factor you're going to have to look at. I'm always talking about dollars. Everything relates to the dollars. I want to keep the employees, I got to pay them more. I want better employees, I got to pay them more. I want to reduce my costs, I go overseas, I outsource to somebody else. You have to look at the dollar. What do the customers want? They want U.S. Or American, for lack of better words, businesses to thrive first. Okay, so that's what I give them. All right. So I have to be able to do now. If you look at this chart real quickly, the author did a nice job, and look at the videos the author presents, other than my real quick summarization. You have to recruit them. So how do I find these individuals? Sometimes if they come in the store, and some of your own customers that have come in there, and you say they're very knowledgeable, they're very nice people. They got to communicate. They have all the skill set that I want. Now I just have to bring him or her work. Hey, would you like to work for me? I don't know. It's a small bit. Yeah, I'll be flexible. Give them realistic job description, what you want. That's the biggest thing with small businesses. You sugarcoat it, and then they realize, hey, I got all this sugarcoating and nothing inside, all right? Then you have to train them, acclimate them to basically your business operation. They may have some skills from other businesses they worked at. Remember, you can bring those skills and refine them and adjust them to your operation. You have to motivate them. Remember, Generation Y, what motivates them? I give them a game ticket. I give them some, you have to look at what's motivating that. Ask them, what do you need? What do you do at the weekend? Oh, I go out, I'm a gamer. Oh, what do you mean? I buy the software. Is it expensive? Oh, yeah. I buy this headset. Oh, maybe we could have, and like a lot of younger people, or the Generation Z or Generation Y, for lack of a better word, when I bring those in and I understand it's my work, so here, we could have a contest for new headphones. We have a contest for this. That's how you motivate them. Evaluate. Now you have to look at your motivation and evaluation of the employee's work well. That's the hardest part. You tell an employee, you don't really cut the mustard here, especially if it's your sibling, especially if it's your family members. That's small businesses, you bring them in. How do I let them go? And then you have to reward and compensate them evenly. And some of the reward and compensation is you give them their bonuses. But a lot of small companies say, hey, if I make a profit, that means after I make all my profit, I will give you 15% of that profit. Profit sharing. Jewel does that, and a lot of larger corporations. That's why these employees are watching for them, being nice to people. Because if employees don't, customers don't come in, employees don't. I don't need as many employees. If I make them happy, more employees shop. There's more profit coming in there. Okay. Now again, we talked about recruiting employees. You had to have a job description. Job description when you take me for HR or into the business or other classes that I teach. Remember, some of you, this is the only business class you may have been exposed to. A job description has two things. It has a job description, tells me what I'm doing, and has a job specification. The job specification is the requirements. This is what the courts are looking for, discrimination or anything else. If I tell you a job description, you will do this, but you also clean the toilet. I don't want to do that. But don't take the job. I'm not being discriminatory. But if I had a job description that said it only has to be little Polish people like myself, born in another country, not U.S., a naturalized U.S. citizen, whatever. That is where the courts are looking for. You mean, so you tell me you're making it so specific that you only want one type of individual? You could have discrimination on that. And then let's talk about reverse discrimination. A lot of people trying to push one minority up to catch them up. Fine, that's what the courts do. But after that, you have to look at the other things. You can't discriminate against anyone just because they're in the majority. You have to look at that. And that's what you have to. It's a fine balancing act in HR. Small businesses, you get away with a lot. Then you have to screen the applicants to make sure they're good. Their resume look good. Maybe someone helped them write it. But then you have to screen them. You have to test the applicants. Usually you don't test them for drugs or anything after you offer them a job because the cost is too costly. But how do I give them some kind of a test, a preview of the job? You got to tell them about the job. Personal interviews, not because of COVID-19. You have a lot of these videos that we could do this going this way. Recruiting Generation Z or Y, and it's a little different because they have a different mindset than me as a baby boomer. I'm looking at this, but how I'm thinking, oh, that's old fashioned. I'm doing the same thing. I just have to repackage it to fit their group. So I give them a whole, they all want benefits. You want a vacation, you don't have to wait away. After 3 weeks, 3 months, I'll give you 2 days off. I'm basically giving them the whole week. I'm just giving them a little chunk. So what I'm adjusting to my customers what motivates them, okay? My employees, sorry. All right, and then you got to train them. And remember, they have a lot of knowledge, technical knowledge, but they may not have the book knowledge, the boring stuff, the accounting. I gotta put the stuff in there. But you have point of purchase. You have software. They're keen, but you got to give them that flexibility. Learn this. I might give you a little bonus if you pick this up or you set this up. Extra activities and extra costs. Always money. You put the money in front, or some kind of gift that you could track. Okay. Then and then this a motivating, challenging thing. You have intrinsic and extrinsic motivator. We'll talk about that. Intrinsic basically means it's inside. I feel good about my job. Extrinsic, my pat on the back, the dollar. You need both of them to motivate the individual, especially a smaller one is more and more. You don't want to leave the job because I liked working for George. He trained me, he helped me. Don't ever leave an employee, even a small one. Go for the next job. If you go in and you tell your boss, hey, look, they're going to pay for my college. You can't afford it. I want the exposure. Leave them in good standings, because some days down the road you may want to come back to that business, or you may want to utilize that business because you're moving up and they're part of your demographics that you're trying to target. You're always learning. You never burn bridges behind you. And that's saying, what do you mean burn bridge? If you burn, you're going forward. You burn the bridge behind you, and now you want to go back home. You got to find another route. That bridge is no longer there. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, then the hardest thing is evaluating employees. When the evaluation, a lot of them do it once a year. Sometimes you do every time you give them a raise, you evaluate them, maybe 3 months. Just have a formal and an informal evaluation to make sure, hey, is everything connecting right? What format should we use, responding to cultural change? Some people, if I'm evaluating, right now Americans don't like to work in teams. People from other countries, they're used to working teams. Let's go to Japan. They're forever. They don't like working individuals. They're used to working teams. So you're going to have some teamwork and some individual work. So you're trying to find that individual who could work in teams, but also who could work independently. Okay? And reward and compensation, intrinsic, we talked about that. Now, the leadership part is what you have to look. Leadership means I'm the owner. How do I get people to do something? Well, they don't want to do it. You're paid them, for goodness sake. Get them to do it or fire. All you have to do is fire one employee or give them some kind of discipline. And the rest go, ooh, geez, George is really not a real. He could be a jerk once in a while. Remember, you're going to talk about autocratic type of, let's see what we have in here. Process, leadership, decision style, okay, autocratic leaders, right? And these are the ones that you don't want to be like. These are the ones that go, what the heck, you do it my way or no way. That's okay, fine, you could do it. You still get people doing, but you have a high turnover because people don't want to work for a tyrant. Okay, so now you're democratic. It means you have employees have some input on there. So now look at democratic. Let me put this democratic leader in here. Autocratic leader. I'll put I'm live in here. I'm trying to make this interactive as much as I can. Okay, democratic. That means I listen to you. It doesn't mean I had to do always what you say, but your input is valuable to me. Okay, and the transformational leader. Now they're the ones that kind of in between. They can motivate you and they can't motivate you. So these are people who just got certain skill set. There's some people that you follow. Gandhi. If you look at, he followed. Mother Teresa. They follow her because they're a holy person. President Trump, whether you like them or not, they follow them. President Obama, whether you like them or not, people follow them. There's something about them that they're transforming, or something about the character, the charisma that they like. Okay? And then maintaining morale. That's the hardest thing. How to keep people happy. I'm not paying them much. We cut your hours. Hey, you must be happy. Because if you don't have an unhappy employee, you have an unhappy customer. Hey, can I help you, sir? What the hell you? I don't care. What the hell? They're not paying me enough. Here, it's over there. Go get it yourself. Some customers like that. They're fine. Other people are going to say, hey, I'm not coming to this store. And then you go complain. And you say, well, he's just got an attitude. You're paying him. Okay, now controlling costs. Labor is the cost. How much overtime? Some people are going to always work overtime. They're going to just do just what they need. So they always have to do overtime. How you control overtime in a retailer? You have 3 or 4 employees. You share the overtime. Just because you got so many hours, somebody else could do your work because they're all cross-trained. Otherwise, if you give the same person, they're going to slow down and not do as much work, always look busy, and basically try to do it always on the weekend, and they want the extra pay. Sometimes you have to pay the overtime, but you got to be careful on that, okay? Store maintenance. Basically, the exterior, the exterior, interior of the store looks junky, especially a restaurant, people ain't coming in. Now, if I'm looking at maintenance, also your vehicles have to be maintained. They can't be rusted, especially if you're looking at them in Palatine area or Barrington area or Lake Forest, if you ever come out that way. When you're looking at that area, they see that raggedy truck, low end. You're not coming in here. You're going to leak oil on my driveway. You're paying for it. You better have insurance. It's only one drop of oil. We got to redo the whole cement. You have, and plus it shows quality. It shows that you're a company. If you're looking at the low end, you see that truck bouncing in. All right, but you got to maintain that shrinkage inventory. Most of your shrinkage, some of this shrinkage is going to be from your customer. Some of it's going to be from your employee. You don't have a check and balance. So your employees are basically going to be, I need this for work. I need this. I got a side job. So you have to make sure you have your inventory in there. Best solution, trust employees, supportive work environment, but always be involved in there, okay? Or tell the employee, hey, we're losing money. What the heck is going on here? And the next one is organizational structure. How did I design the organization? There's a whole course I teach on that. And the 4 categories on there is strategic management. That's long-term, administrative management, operation, everyday merchandise management, how much inventory, so I don't have too much or I don't have too left. I need just in time. And store management, how do I keep the personnel and everything else working together on that? Okay? Does that kind of make sense? All right. Okay, so then a single store, the owner does most of the tasks. Like it or not, buyer, advertising, they do everything. So they wear different hats. Organization of the, now if I'm looking at the larger change, they got merchandise, they have people who buy for the whole company. They have people who help for the whole operation. They set everything up. They're buying by economies of scale. They're making money. Finance, they control. You doing your own budget, but you have to roll it up to their budget. Private labels. Some larger companies, they have their own private label. Sam's has their own private label. Members, whatever. Selected members. Costco has their own, Kirtland, whatever. Okay, direct channels, right? And global. They got international. Okay, then you have this. Look at the chart. Okay, now on this one here, I'm not going to go into this. You could take me for HR or other things. Just understand you have to treat all employees fairly. You have to, compensation, everyone's going to get paid, and the way they look at a job title. I know there's some discrepancy, say men are being paid more than women. If you have equal pay, you have the same, if I'm a plumber and you're a plumber A, plumber B, whatever it is, you basically get the same pay. There's no job discrimination on this. There's no wage compensation. There is a wage compensation because there's people pay more for construction than they do for nurses. There is a disconnect, but that's the market thing. It's completely different, all right? So understand that. And when you take me for a class, I'm just going real quickly. Labor relations, if you make sure you're fair to your employees, don't try to rip them off. Sexual harassment is from the person, and there is things that just old guys like myself, they're sexual harassment. No! It's usually always, remember, because now you have same gender. You have, it's not always women are in power now. Lack of a better word, they are basically now being abusers, either to the same gender or to the opposite sex. It doesn't make a difference. You have to look who's in power and is he or she abusing their position to get sexual favors for the next promotion or raise or whatever. Okay? Okay, and then employee privacy, how much privacy you have. We watch everywhere. People don't even look at privacy anymore. There's cameras, everything. My cell phone's tracking me. The phone's tracking me. Okay, so I'm at 18 minutes now. I think I covered everything. Let me just bring this in. And if I'm let me see. Oh, I got to begin here. Sorry. Different programs, format, and damn, I'm not doing too good here. Cancel. I'm live. Those of you know I'm live. Hope you like the green screen. To expand. 11. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to close this off. So we covered a lot here. Remember, oops, things alive on here. So if I'm looking at what we learned today, We learned how to retain. I mean, that's what this whole chapter was about. And it's the hardest thing from the store. It's the hardest thing. But some people like to work with people. They're talkative, but they don't like to do all the busy stuff. They don't like to do the filing and the cleaning and the inventory check. But that's part of the job. Illustrate leadership skills. You have to be a good leader. And a lot of times, don't be auditory, be democratic, and utilize what you've learned from the marketing. How do I present it? How do I sell it? How do I motivate? That all ties in together. Keep your employees happy. How do I organize? A lot of times when a company when it's small, I could control because I'm doing everything. As you get larger and larger, you'll bring a consultant, or you're taking the classes here at a college, or looking at YouTube. How do I basically control? Because I'm growing. I need more people. I need direct reports. I have to split up. I got to reorganize my thing by different, by geographic, by labor, by different functionality within the business, okay? All right, so we have everything else, and then you have the legal issues. A lot of times you're a small business, you get away with the legal issues because usually I'm a small business. It's not, sexual harassment, all that. They could get you in legal, but it's not like you're going to have the large the government coming in because you only got 5 employees. I think it's like 50 employees or more where they start grading, where you can bring it up to the next level. You could probably bring it up at a lower level also, but a lot of times it's harder because it's only George. It's only a small business. Okay, so you just move on. All right, so that's about it. I've had my 20 minutes. We've done good. Remember, you're going to have assessments, everything else. Read the chapter, read the book, and all the supplements. Print out my mind maps, write it in there. And this is the hardest part, is the HR portion. Remember, human relations is the next costly item next to my inventory for small business. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and thank you for listening to this recording. Bye.